offered $7 million for your life. $7 million is a lot of money, Mr. Wick.
So I guess you have a choice. You want a war? Or do you want to just give me a gun?
Hello, everybody. Hope you all have gotten out to the movies this week.
Yes.
Today, Grandma went to John Wick, Chapter 2, which, as the title would suggest, is the second part of the John Wick saga, perhaps.
Well, it might mean there'll be a Chapter 3.
They certainly set it up for a Chapter 3. The first one we saw, again, Keanu Reeves plays this assassin who is very good at his job. In this movie, he finds himself paying back an old debt, really reluctantly, and unfortunately, there ends up being a lot of double and triple crosses along the way, and he finds himself the target of all the other assassins in the world, and having to
seems to be a lot of them
to deal with that. So, what do you
Yes.
think of John Wick Chapter 2, Grandma?
Well, it was wonderfully interesting to see how they could create a story where there was non-stop violence, fighting, physical fighting, lots of gunfire, not much dialogue, not much, one-to-one interaction. There was all kinds of mayhem. John Wick does get scratched a couple of times, but
Scratched?
yeah, considering what he goes through, it's a wonder.
He gets shot sometimes, too.
He got shot, and knifed and scratched and clobbered him over the head. I kept waiting for his hands to swell up or something, because he was always fighting. And it was, if you like the kind of film where there is non-stop fighting, all kinds of variations of physical fighting, not just fisticuffs, but all the things that Keanu Reeves or his helpers can think of. I got to wondering, if you were an extra hired for this film, how many different times did you die? Because
You think they reused the people?
Every situation he was shooting at least 15 or 20 people before, he got to a relatively safe thing.
What did you think of it, though, Grandma?
Well, it's not my kind of film. No. I like a little bit more character development, a little more, actual story.
Mm-hmm.
This is this I'm going to kill you if you don't kill me business, to me, gets a little tiresome after a while. I mean, he is the primary assassin in this world he lives in. Everybody that we met knew Mr. Wick.
Right.
They'd look up from whatever they were doing, and this expression of recognition would go, okay, hello, Mr. Wick. He seemed perfectly happy in his retirement until he was called out of that, and the mayhem began. And he showed all of his skills as an assassin, and not just physical fighting, but all the gunfare and so forth. Somehow he always seemed to mow everybody down, and they didn't mow him down. I'm not sure why nobody was a better shot than they were, but it's not my kind of film. I enjoyed it a little bit, but just a little bit. Not much. What'd you think?
Well, I don't know. About halfway through it, I was not liking it that much. I was sort of agreeing with you as far as that goes. But that's mainly because the first half of the movie didn't have that much action. Actually, it was a lot of him walking around and trying to figure out how to assassinate someone, and there was all this, you know, planning and plotting and buying guns and whatever else. And that was getting a little tiresome after a while.
Reconnecting with all these people.
Yeah, I mean,
that he had known in his other life.
But actually, once it got to the point where all the assassins were after him, that's when I thought it was really interesting. And it was interesting because one thing that John Wick does is that he finds a lot of different ways to kill people. He hardly ever kills two people the same way, and that's sort of interesting. His skill as an assassin, as a killer, is sort of unmatched, just in terms of his imagination.
And he even left a couple of people alive. And
told
them, if you do this, you'll stay alive.
Well, yeah, but yeah, because they're sort of going to die anyways. Yeah. So again,
that part
I like the first movie, and again, I sort of like the second movie. Again, I don't like the first part, but I really like the last half of it. I thought it was really well done. I like Keanu Reeves, and I like Keanu Reeves in this role. Again, I like the character. If they do take this character going forward, again, I think I think they really want to do something more with the quiet times. Again, the first part of the movie, again, they need to show a little more imagination with the dialogue, some of the situations and characters and such, that when he's not killing people. Again, I think they can do that. They can make the character is an interesting character, and they can make those situations better if they want to. In this case, I think that was sort of lacking. But again, the action pieces and the way the character took care of the business, you might say, at the end of the movie, again, I would recommend it. Not greatly, but I would recommend it. What's your final judgment there, Grandma?
No, I wouldn't recommend it.
No thumbs for you?
No thumbs at all.
Not even a sideways thumb?
Well, it's, a sideways thumb, yes.
Maybe a sideways thumb. What would you give the sideways thumb for?
Well, all of the action is very creative and inventive. As you said, he comes up with a different way of completing his mission almost every time.
So that's worth the sideways thumb.
That's worth the creativity, the imagination there. But you have to remember, John Wick is the most creative and effective assassin in the world.
Okay.
And everyone who knows him or knows about him, he is, what was the nickname?
The Boogeyman.
The Boogeyman. Boogeyman. They know who he is. The Boogeyman comes. Well, you know what that means.
But you wouldn't recommend it?
No, I really wouldn't.
Okay.